Hello, everyone. I am Albert. Today, we're diving into something deeply personal and profoundly real. I invite you to stay with me and listen closely. This story may feel like your own.
The thing I think about most these days is all the quiet moments I let slip by without really being in them. I'm 75 years old now. I've been around long enough to watch seasons change more times than I can count. I've held newborn grandchildren, stood at gravesides for friends, sat through long nights when someone I loved was sick. I've lived an ordinary life in an ordinary town, raised a family, kept a job, paid the mortgage. Nothing you'd write a book about, just day after day, year after year. I worked at the same factory for 38 years. Started on the floor, ended up in the office, keeping track of parts and shipments. It was steady work, good benefits. I left the house at 6:30 most mornings, got home around 5:30 or 6, sometimes later if there was overtime. The kids were small when I started. I'd come in, wash up, sit down for supper. We'd talk about their day at school, what happened at work. I made sure the bills got paid on time, car was always running, roof never leaked. We took a week at the lake most summers. Had a little camper we pulled behind the truck. Weekends were for cutting grass, fixing things around the house, going to church on Sunday mornings. I helped coach my son's baseball team a few years, was at every one of my daughter's band concerts. I thought that meant I was there. People said I was a good father, a good husband, reliable, and I believed them. I was tired most of the time, but I figured that's just how it is when you're raising a family and keeping everything going. It didn't come like a lightning bolt, more like a slow fog rolling in. I retired at 65. First few months felt strange, waking up without an alarm, no place I had to be. The house was quieter, kids long grown and gone. My wife had her routines, garden in the mornings, phone calls with friends in the afternoon. Evenings we'd eat together, then sit in the living room. She'd read or watch one of her shows. I'd flip through channels or look at the newspaper. One evening, I don't even remember what night it was, I looked over at her and realized I hadn't really talked to her, not truly talked, in longer than I could remember. Not about the little things inside her head, not about what made her happy or what kept her up sometimes. And when the kids called, the conversation stayed on the surface. How's the weather? How are the grandkids? Nothing deeper. I started noticing how they'd tell their mother certain things first, how they'd laugh easier with her. That's when it settled on me, slow and heavy. I had been in the house all those years, but I hadn't really been with them. If I'm honest, and I try to be these days, my biggest regret is that I wasn't truly present for the people who mattered most. I was there in body. I brought home the paycheck. I fixed the leaky faucet and drove them where they needed to go. But my mind was always half somewhere else, thinking about work the next day, worrying about money, planning what needed doing around the house. When my daughter talked about something that hurt her feelings at school, I'd nod and say the right things, but I wasn't really listening with my whole self. When my son wanted to show me something he built or tell me about a game, I'd look up from the TV or the paper, but only part way. When my wife sat beside me on the couch night after night, I'd reach for her hand sometimes, but not often enough, and not like I meant it with everything in me. I thought being a good provider was the same as being there. It isn't. Presence is something quieter. It's looking someone in the eye and letting them feel you're only thinking about them in that moment. It's listening until they're all the way finished. It's noticing when they're carrying something heavy without them having to say it. I didn't do that enough. And those moments, they don't come back. I didn't see it because life keeps you moving. There's always something that feels like it can't wait, a bill coming due, a problem at work, something breaking that needs fixing. And I thought there would be time later, plenty of time, once the kids were older, once the house was paid off, once I retired. I thought love was strong enough to wait while I handled everything else. I thought they knew how I felt because I worked hard for them, because I never left, because I tried to do right by them. I didn't understand that love needs tending every single day. Little touches, real conversations, time when nothing else is pulling at you. I just didn't understand. Now the days are long and quiet. The grandkids come over sometimes. They're sweet. They hug me hello and goodbye, but they don't crawl into my lap the way they do with their other grandpa. They don't tell me their secrets. My son and daughter call regular. We talk. They love me. I know they do. But there's a distance that grew over all those years, a closeness we never quite reached. My wife and I sit together every evening. We're gentle with each other. We've been through a lot side by side, but the deep, easy knowing that could have been there, it's thinner than I wish it was. These are the things that sit with me now, not the job I had, not the things we bought, just the quiet spaces where I could have been more there and wasn't.
If you've got people in your house tonight or someone you love nearby, maybe just sit with them a little longer than usual. Maybe leave the phone in the other room. Maybe look at them when they talk and let everything else wait. I'm not saying you have to do anything. I'm just an old man looking back. Maybe you'll see something I didn't see soon enough. I think about all those ordinary days now, the supper tables, the rides home from practice, the evenings on the couch. I thought they'd always be there. They weren't. Thank you for sitting with me while I talked. If something in this stayed with you, maybe tell someone about it, or just go be with the people you love. Take care now.
If these thoughts felt familiar, please like this video and share it with those you love. Time is gentle, but it is never guaranteed. If you wish to hear more truths before moments slip away, subscribe to this channel, and there is still more I want to share with you.